When the yarn meets the hook, it becomes more than just a look. Every scarf, every bag.
Hello, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is BRcrochet, and in today's tutorial we're going to be learning how to make this cow neck dress. So for the materials of this dress, you'll be needing scissors, measuring tape, hook size of 4.0 mm, and stitch marker, which is optional. So if you do not have a stitch marker, you can actually improvise with yarn of another color, but you need your stitch marker. So this is all you'll be needing to make this dress here. So if this is what you're interested in learning how to make, please like, share, and subscribe, and let's get right into class. To work on this top, you need to take measurements of your shoulder to shoulder. So the shoulder to shoulder I'm working on is 17 inches, which is still going to cover my bust. So it now depends on how deep you want your cowl to be. So mine is 17 inches, and I'm going to add 2 inches to it, to my 17 inches to complete 19 inches. So now I'm going to make a chain of 19 inches. So slip knots. Then I'm going to make a chain of 19 inches. Like I said, you're going to take measurement of your shoulder to shoulder measurements. The shoulder to shoulder measurement I'm working on is 17 inches plus extra 2 inches, which is 19 inches. So you can decide to add extra to yours or go with your shoulder to shoulder measurements. So you're going to take measurement of your shoulder to shoulder measurements plus your number of increase. Now I have my 19 inches here and have a chain of 75. So here is a chain of 75 and it's 19 inches. Without stretching, I have 19 inches without stretching. So now I'm going to make extra chain of 2. 1, 2. So skip the first 2 chain or the last 2 chain you made and work into the third with a double crochet. So double crochet. Then into every stitch you're going to go in with 1 double crochet. So yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over into the next stitch, pull up, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over into the next stitch, pull up, pull through 2, pull through 2. So you go into every stitch with a double crochet. So go into every chain with a double crochet. Make sure you are working on your chain on a straight line. So make sure you're working into your chain on a straight line, just like this. If you are picking the top stitch, pick the top stitch to the end, and if you are picking the back stitch, pick to the end. Don't switch between picking the top chain and the back chain. It's going to be twisted. So pick one line to the end. Continue to make your 1 double crochet until you get to the last end. So chain 3 or chain 2, turn. Your chain 3 or chain 2 does not count as a stitch. So into the first stitch, go in with 1 double crochet, then 1 double crochet into every other stitches till the end again. So into every stitch, you're going with 1 double crochet. into every stitch, go in with one double crochet. So continue to go into every stitch with one double crochet until you get to the last stitch. Into the last stitch, I'm going to have one double crochet. So always make sure you have your one double crochet into the last stitch and one double crochet into the first stitch on both sides. So chain 2, turn. Into the first stitch, like I said, you have one double crochet. Into every other stitches, one double crochet. To every stitch without skipping a stitch. Once you skip a stitch, then that's a decrease. So just have one double crochet into every stitch. Into the last stitch, one double crochet. So this is it. So it's on a straight line and this. So I'm going to continue for about 12 to 13 inches and we'll meet up. So I already have my 12 inches and 19 inches long. So the length here is 12 inches. I have 12 inches here and I still have my bust to bust measurement of 19 inches. So now we're going to work on the waist measurement. The original waist measurement I'm working on is 27 inches, but I'm going to decrease to 24 inches. That's 3 inches away from the original waist measurement. So I have 19 inches here and I'm going to decrease up until 24 inches. So that's 5 inches. Now I'm going to make a chain of 5 inches. So it's going to start working on the waist down to the length. So I'm going to make a chain of 5 inches. Whatever waist measurements you're working on, minus 3 inches away from the original waist measurements you are working on. So now I already have my chain of 5 inches. So I'm going to connect to this. So into the top stitch here, make a slip stitch to connect. Now you should have this. So from this point now, we're going to start working on the hip measurements. So chain 2, 1, 2. So work one double crochet into your chain. So into the chain, make one double crochet each. I already have my double crochet into the chain, so now I can continue going around. until I'm back to the beginning point, which is here. Into every stitch, 1 double crochet until I'm back to the beginning point. I'm back to the beginning point, so I'm going to slip stitch. So slip stitch into the top stitch. Chain 3, 2, 3, turn. So now that this is done, we are going to get the midpoints. So we're going to get the midpoints now to start increasing until we get to the hip measurements minus 4 to 5 inches. So you're going to get a stitch marker. Once you have the beginning point, you're going to fold to 2 to get the midpoints on this. So this is the first midpoint here, and this is the other midpoint. So now we have our midpoint for increase. So this is the point where you start increasing until you get to your hip measurement. So into the same stitch, that's the first stitch here, you're going to place 1 double crochet. So now that you have your 1 double crochet here, then you're not going to have anything into the last stitch, since this is for this. So when you place something here, it means you're increasing. So go 1 double crochet until you get to your mid marker points. One double crochet into every stitch until you get to where you have your stitch marker. I have my stitch marker here, so I'm going to place 2 double crochets in the same stitch. 2 double crochet in the same stitch. Then continue with 1 double crochet until you get to the next stitch marker. Go into the next stitch marker and place 2 double crochet into where you have your stitch marker. 2 double crochets. Into every other stitches, you have 1 double crochet each until you get to the end points. So the only point where you're going to start having 2 double crochets in a stitch is where you have your stitch marker. So every other point you have 1 double crochet each, and this is because we don't want to have a regular shape that's just placing 2 double crochet into any of the stitches without following on a line. So this will help us track the increase from waist to the 8 points. Like I said, you're not placing the double crochet into the last stitch because the last stitch is for the chain 3. So when you place a double crochet here, then it means you're increasing. So into the third stitch, that's into the third chain, now you're going to have your slip stitch. So slip stitch into the third chain. This. So now this is done. Chain 3, turn again. Into the same stitch, you're going to have 1 double crochet. 1 double crochet into every stitch until you get to your next stitch marker again. So continue with 1 double crochet into where you have your 2 double crochet, place 2 double crochet there. So where you have your two double crochet, always remember to place two double crochet in that same point and have and continue one double crochet until you get to the next stitch marker and place your two double crochet into where you already have your two double crochets. So you're going to continue this until you get to your hip measurement minus 4 inches. Then from there we'll meet up. I'm getting to the next stitch marker point, which is this, and where I have my two double crochet. So I'm going to place two double crochets into the same point, then continue with one double crochet until the last end. You're not placing any stitch into this because you already have your chain 3 there, so you're going to slip stitch now into the chain 3 to the third chain, slip stitch, chain 3 again, turn and continue to the first stitch, have your double crochet, then turn and continue your stitch. So you're going to continue increasing on this point where you have your, you can continue to move your stitch marker as you go so you don't miss your points. So you continue to place your two double crochet into where you have your two double crochets. So I already have my desired measurements here, which is my 35 inches. So and I have 19 rows in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I have 19 rows here. Now from this point, I'm going to start working on straight without increase. So you're just going to have one double crochet into every stitch round without placing an increase. So once you start increasing, then you're going to exit your hip measurement. So from now on, it's just going to be one double crochet into every stitch. So including where you have been placing two double crochets, you place one double crochet there. Including your double crochet, two double crochet stitch, you're going to place one double crochet. So into every stitch now, you're going to have one double crochet until you get to your skirt length. So if you want to have a maxi skirt, you go one double crochet each until you get to the full length of your dress. And if you are working on a mini or midi skirt, from this point you continue working one double crochet straight until you get to the skirt length. Even into the point where you were placing your two double crochet, you're going to place one double crochet there. So now we are going to stop increasing. We already have our hip points. So from the hip points now, you go one double crochet round until you get to the skirt length. So we are no longer increasing, neither are we decreasing. We're just maintaining the same measurements that we have, which is the inches that we already have. So which is the same. We're not increasing, we're not decreasing. So you just keep maintaining the inches you already have until you get to your dress length. So once I get to my dress length, we'll meet up again. You can either chain 2 or chain 3, but I'll chain 2. So No increase, no decrease, just maintaining the same number of stitches and number of inches that you already have until you get to the skirt length. So now I've reached my dress length. So the next thing to do now is to secure the edges by making one single crochet into every stitch. So now we start placing one single crochet into every stitch. To make a single crochet, go in directly, you don't yarn over, you go in directly. Pull up, you have two loop, pull through the two. So you're going to repeat this for all the stitches. So repeat for all stitches and we'll meet up once I'm done. I'm back to the first stitch, so I'm just going to slip stitch, chain two, then cut. Into the same stitch, I'm going to go in, pull up a strand. That's if you're using a two strand, but if you're using a one strand, then you open it up and tie two times again. Then cut. So now the lower part is done. You're now going to walk into this. So you're going to make one single crochet back at the top or at the top edge. You can begin from anywhere actually. So I'm going to begin from here, not into the first stitch. Slip stitch into the double crochet, slip stitch, then go one single crochet into every stitch including the turning loop. So this is the turning loop. You go one single crochet into the double crochet, one single crochet loop, one single crochet into the double crochet, one single crochet. So you go one single crochet into every stitch including the turning loop, one single crochet into the double crochet, one single crochet into the turning loop. You're going to open it up, one single crochet into the double crochet, one single crochet into the turning loop. I'm back to this point. I'm going to chain one, then into the same stitch have another single crochet. So to work on this part, you're going to make one single crochet into every stitch. So place one single crochet into every stitch. You're not skipping a stitch, so into every stitch you're going with one single crochet. That's keeping a stitch at this point. So I'm also going to have one single crochet into every of the stitches. So I'm back to the end point or the beginning point. So I'm also going to slip stitch, chain two, then cut. So now I'm done with the dress. You can see the curve from the waist to the hip point, which is here, then from hip point down to the skirt length. So the next thing to do is to fix the strap. So now you're going to fix your strap into this part and this part. So I'll go ahead and do that then. So now I'm done fixing my strap. So the next thing is to fix the lower strap. So I'm going to go in by 9.5 inches to 10 inches. So it depends on the size you're working on. So if you're working for a small size, you can just go in by 9 inches. If you're working for a medium to large size, you can go in by 10 inches. But if you're working for an extra large because of the bust, then just calculating the under bust, just going by 11 inches. So for me, I'll be going in by 9.5 inches. So I'll be fixing my strap here. This is 9.5 inches. Tying at the back. So you're going to be tying this strap at the back. The first one is for the neck. So this is for the back. That's the waist. So you tie this around the waist area. Not so long because it's just for the waist. So now I'm done fixing my strap. So this is going to be tied around the waist. This way. Then this around the neck. So now let's take measurement of the full length of this dress. So this is 30 inches. I have 30 inches as the full length of this dress. And for the hip measurement, so let's take the hip measurements. This is 35 inches and can stretch to 42 inches. That's 21 inches. So yeah, our dress is ready. So the cow neck is going to be like this on the chest area. Thank you for watching to the end. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next class. Bye.